Welcome to Adventure, an e-commerce podcast that isn't just about numbers and profits. It's about the visionaries who have carved their path, navigated challenges, and left an indelible mark on the e-commerce landscape. So get ready to be inspired, informed, and immersed in the world where innovation meets commerce. Joining us today is Jana, CEO and founder of YLT Translations, the largest Amazon-centric localization firm in the space today. An international public speaker, polyglot, and a translator herself, Jana has considerable knowledge and experience in e-commerce and Amazon, which she has and continues to leverage on to help 7 to 9 figure businesses expand on a global scale. Also joining in on the conversation will be Joseph Phillips, account manager with BidX. Joe has a passion for all things e-commerce, and at BidX, he handles ad strategy for enterprise clients in the United States. So welcome, Jana and Joe. I'm so excited to have you here today, most specifically because, Jana, we have not had the opportunity to chat yet. So I'm going to be super interested to hear your story and all of your insights. And you are our very first female guest as well. So I'm interested to hear some of the unique challenges you may or may not have faced. I don't know. We'll see. We're just going to dive right in, and I'm going to ask you what inspired you to venture into the Amazon e-commerce space.
So I actually, my background are languages, and I have bachelor's and master's in languages and literature. And then basically I was very interested in applying my language knowledge in different spheres. And I was interested in e-commerce. So this is where I got my first desk job was at this very big e-commerce in Denmark. And this is how I actually learned about all the different areas like e-commerce, like where you can tackle, like where you can, like how you can rank your page in SEO, like with Google, and later then with Amazon. And then I got really interested in Amazon about 15 years ago, and this is where I first heard about BidX. And then I thought that there was a lot of opportunity in actually going globally with your brand, and then a lot of people really don't know about SEO, let alone Amazon. And then I thought that the algorithm is probably going to be way less difficult than the Google's algorithm, and that turned out to be a really good idea, and it turned out to be true. So then I quit my job, and then I decided to do my own thing, and this is how YLT was born. And at first it was only e-commerce translations, but then after that we niched down to Amazon only, as I saw that a lot of brands really don't understand the importance of having product listings optimized the right way, because that will bring you a lot of sales. And then we just decided to do all Amazon only, and we scaled really fast because of like a really high demand and not that many competitors that knew what they were doing. So today we have a team of 82 people who are all trained for Amazon, very, specifically trained to understand the algorithm, lengths of the certain like title bullets, keyword research, all the strategies. And I'm really proud to say that we work with one of the largest enterprises out there. And I'm just really passionate about what we do. And I always educate people on the topic, because I don't think a lot of people talk about it. Per se, maybe some of them think what is there to say about translations, but there is so much to share and say about content, especially because of our marketplaces, your competitors really don't know what they're doing when it comes to their content. So this is how you can beat them, and this is going to be one of their very, very big pain points.
Yeah, I can, first of all, kudos on speaking like so many languages. I speak English and sarcasm, fluent in that, but other than that, nothing. But yeah, in this business, like every word matters, right? So your translations have to be super on point. And, just culturally too, there's ways that you say things that you certainly don't want to offend somebody. And as you're looking to expand into different areas, I can absolutely see how crucial translations are. So that's a great story. I'm going to lighten things up just a little bit because part of this podcast is really just to get to know the founders and the CEOs on a little bit of a different level than just the Amazon question. So no hard
That's perfect.
And no right or wrong answers. But so are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Cat or dog?
I don't know. What do you mean by cat or dog?
Are you a cat person or a dog person?
Oh, I'm definitely a dog person.
Okay, not are you a cat or dog?
I'm sorry. I heard counter dog, and I'm like, what?
Let me
Dog
enunciate for the language person in the room.
We'll send one to your office
Coffee.
as a gift from us.
Yeah. Would you like a cat or a dog or a hedgehog? Summer or winter?
Summer, definitely. Always and forever summer.
Adventure travel or relaxation?
That is really difficult because sometimes I really need to relax, and then other times I'm like, let's do 5,000 things a day. So maybe lately I've been more of like a relaxed vacation than adventurous type. I kind of want to like relax on my vacation, not come back feeling even more tired. I'll go with the relaxed one.
Okay.
It's
funny
a tough
how
question though.
but it's funny how different questions are difficult for different people. Android or iOS?
iOS.
Hiking or biking?
Hiking?
Yes.
I mean, neither basically, but hiking.
Book or movie?
Movie, maybe. This is a really sad answer. I think like my professor from university would be like, seriously? Because like I spent all these years like studying literature, and I've read so many books in my life that I maybe think, like the movies just because they are saving me more time, not because they're necessarily better, but because like now, like I kind of consider like how much is my time worth. So like if I can like watch a movie that lasts for like 2.5 hours and I enjoy it, then maybe that's like better than like dedicating 10 times longer like to reading a book, even though I do really enjoy reading books, and mostly books are better than movies that I've seen, but I'll just go with movies. That's just, I guess, who I am now.
Yeah. But do you think just because of your background and you're such an academic, do you view reading as more of a job than pleasure, or you just don't have the time?
I do reading for pleasure, and what kind of really makes me sad because like I don't have time for literature books like fictional books. I don't know, something like I don't know, Hemingway's and Tolstoy and like writers like that, because now whoever I talk to, they are like, oh, I read 20 books a day, but they read self-help books or how to build your empire today sort of books. And then to me, those are not like actual books in terms of like I read 10 books a week and stuff like that, because I'm more of like a literature type of person, books like classical literature books than self-help and business books, which I also enjoy, but so those type of books I would consider as something that it's my to-do list, like a task that I do in order to educate myself. So that will be like seeing these books as like business books, like that I have to do in order to build my business. But literature books are, for me, these type of books are pleasure reading.
Yeah, no, I totally completely get that. 100%. Are you an introvert or extrovert?
So that is also a difficult question. I don't know if I should answer this like this or that, or should I give an explanation?
No, we would love to. We're here to get to know you. So.
Okay. So actually, like, I think that, everyone that knows me in this space would say like, I'm this like social butterfly, extrovert, loud, blah, blah, all of that. But which I am, I really enjoy connecting with people, but actually I am a very shy person. And then every time when I have to talk to someone I don't know, I have this anxiety attack, and then tell myself, no, like go and do this. Like, because if I start overthinking, that is the end for me. So like my whole life I've been trying to get myself out of my comfort zone and like doing all these things over and over again, just, trying for me to become this extrovert person who I'm not right now, but I am better than how I was 10 years ago. Also connecting with like my speaking gigs, because I'm not a public speaker. I also used to be a pianist, and I had like some concerts, and I won a bunch of competitions. But that was so different when you try to present your own business that you built from scratch, and you don't actually kind of believe in it, and you have that imposter syndrome, all of that. And then it was so hard for me to get on that stage the first time. I blacked out. It was so bad. Like, it was terrible. But that was me telling myself, like, go and do, like, if I feel the fear, is my brain says like, okay, fine, go and do it. And then it just like kept on doing it and doing it and doing it. And now, like, if you see me on stage, you think like, wow, like she's like a professional. It's so easy for her, but it's not. It was the toughest thing I've done, was to get on that stage in front of 300 people and try to share something I know, hoping that they would like it. So that was very, very challenging and hard for me, because I'm my own worst enemy. I'm like really hard on myself a lot of times, worse than anybody else. But honestly, like I was an introvert who really worked on becoming an extrovert by putting her in all of the uncomfortable situations that there were, but literally deciding on doing them in split of a second. So I don't even let my brain tell me like, no, what are you doing? Are you nuts? Because like once I was invited by a Danish Chamber of E-commerce to speak about what we do and like the content and, you know, how it affects sales and all of that. And then they reached out to me and they were like, can you do this in Danish? And I mean, I am not native in Danish, but I'm like C1 level, so pretty proficient. But I've never done anything like it in Danish. And then they reached out to me and they're like, can you do this in Danish in front of, you know, like a Danish Chamber of E-commerce? And I was like, of course. And then I was like, what? And then I was like, now it's too late. You can't say they can do it. But if they gave me a couple of days to think about it, I would have, you know, came back with like, no, there's no way. Let's just do English. So that's how it works. Yeah, it's very stressful, but it works for me. So.
Yeah, you know, it's really funny. I relate so much to what you're saying, because I'm also an introvert by nature. People think I'm an extrovert, but what I have found, I used to produce concerts and MC them in front of hundreds of people. And the first one, I, like you, blacked out, have no idea what I said. Everybody said I did a great job. And my trick was like, okay, I'm going to act like how I think an MC of a concert would act. And I just kind of like acted my way through it the first time. But what I found, and I think certainly, I think reflects in you as well, that when you're really passionate about something, you can overcome that fear. I was certainly passionate about that. And I can tell it's like bubbling out of you about what you're doing right now. So I think that certainly definitely helps. Just a couple more and then we'll get on to some more business stuff. But so this has stumped everyone, pancakes or waffles?
Pancakes, but not pancakes, but crepes.
Oh, crepes. Okay, you're so fancy. And
I'm European.
Online shopping or in-store shopping?
In-store shopping. I like to touch things, feel fabrics, and yeah, I'm more like an old school type of person. I also don't like Kindle for reading books. I like, you know, like to swipe pages and like feel the paper. So I'm a little more like an old school for that.
Yep, totally agree. Well, thanks for playing with our speed round. I feel like I know you a little bit now. I think Joe has a few questions.
Great. I loved it.
All right. Yeah, so it was great to hear a little bit more about you and the person behind YLT. So kind of getting into some translation-based questions. Talk to me about when people should be translating their listings, when they should be whether that's, you know, put your product on to see initially if it works when you just use Google Translate, or should you really be investing up front and doing things right from the beginning?
So I think that also like just to add a little bit to your question is like, when should brand actually decide on expanding globally, you know, at all? Because I don't think international expansion, even though this is what we do, it's not for every brand. So like you should not have every brand expand at all costs just because they heard that some other competitor or some other brand expanded and they were very successful in Japan or Germany or any other marketplace. I think the most important thing is for everyone to do their due diligence, and then if, you know, things and numbers add up and make sense, then they should do it. But honestly, like when you decide to expand, you should only take your best sellers to begin with, and then later you can roll out your catalog. But I think that trying, like if you're like a US brand, we mostly work with US brands. Like if you're a US brand that has already done a lot on a US marketplace, so like you've been fairly successful, you've figured out how it all works, and then you've decided that now maybe you can beat your competitors by going abroad. Or maybe on the US marketplace, you hit the wall and there's nothing more you can do. Maybe your niche is like saturated, maybe the competition is too fierce, and then you decide to go elsewhere. So I would never advise anyone to expand if they're beginners, like if they have like one product, maybe two variations. It doesn't make a lot of sense, because what are you doing? You don't even know what you're doing on the US marketplace, and then what do you think you should be doing in a foreign marketplace? What I've seen, we've been around for about 5 years. I think we've worked with about 4,000 brands now. And what I've seen that's a repeated mistake is that a very, very big brands that you think are doing amazingly well, like they're like 8-9 millions on US marketplace, supplements, very difficult niches, they really don't know what they're doing on another marketplace. Like that doesn't that always surprised me. I'm like, how did you build such such a successful business and you don't know what you're doing on like not even like a foreign language marketplace, but like maybe even in the UK or Canada? It's really, really interesting. So a lot of them really don't have what it takes when it comes to numbers, analysis, all of that. And that is something very simple that they can do on their own. They don't have to pay someone to do or perform like due diligence on like certain products. There's so many tools nowadays that can help you with the revenue, with a bunch of things. And I just think that after you decide to launch your products on your marketplace, I think that content needs to be done about like a month before you launch those products. And that is because if you decide to do your content maybe 3-4 months before you decide to launch your products, maybe in the meantime there will be something new that will be now against TOS, or maybe this is going to be something like maybe the keywords will be different, or maybe what if you push the launch for like later, and then maybe you miss out on some Christmas keywords or some other seasonal keywords. So I wouldn't do content before you get your VATs, you get everything set up, and then in a month time, you know that you're going to launch your product, and this is where you do your listing content. And then every 6 months after, you should optimize it in terms of doing another keyword research and making sure you still have all those relevant keywords in your listings and in your PPC campaigns.
Interesting. Yeah. And with my next question so if I'm coming from the US and going to the UK, we're both speaking English, but what are going to be the differences in like search behavior and how, there's slightly different names for different things. And what's kind of the process there?
Yeah, so that's a really good question, because this is what a lot of brands don't even think about. And I know, like after my talks at like these different conferences, people reach out and they're like, wow, I've never thought about these things, which to me are very obvious things everyone should know. But this is not how people think, and this is what I like to educate people about. So we've had recently a brand, they were selling a diaper bag in the US. And so this brand, they decided to copy paste the whole English content, keywords, backends, all of that, and present it to the UK audience. And the problem was that had they done keyword research for the UK marketplace, they would have noticed that there is no such thing as diapers in the search results, but they didn't. So they spent a lot of money being ranked for completely wrong products, because the word diapers in the UK is used only for adult diapers, not for kids diapers, because you would use the word nappies in the UK. And also, like, if we analyze the keyword research a little bit, so like if you were to compare the US keyword list with the UK one, so in the US list, you will see a lot of Spanish keywords because of Hispanic population. Then you will get keywords such as baby shower gifts, diaper bag changing station, which is pretty like a localized keyword for the States, because in the UK, you don't have any changing stations, and baby shower gifts did not show up in top 50 search terms for the UK marketplace. So they were, keeping all the keywords that are completely not relevant for the UK market and missing out on so many other ones that they should be ranked for. So this is something that is really, really important. It's English, but I mean, even in the States, like some people say like, book bag instead of, just like a rucksack and a bunch of things, like just like inside of the States, let alone like different country, like continents like Australia. I think they call flip-flops like thongs and stuff like that. It just like really, really can cause a lot of problems and mostly a lot of time. And then if your reviews go down, it's also going to be very hard. Now with global reviews, it's so much easier to launch than earlier when you did not have global reviews, which means that you'll have to fight for all of these reviews you will get on that new marketplace. But now they're all shown as, like you've been selling there for a while, which is great. But a lot of people forget that, English should be localized. And even if they're like just like small tweaks, like there are still some, just like make sure you go over them. It doesn't gonna, it's not gonna cost, or, you're not gonna lose all the time just by doing that.
Interesting. Yeah, that's definitely a way that people could lose money, is just not having the right preparation and going into it without knowing what they're doing. And yeah, I'm just learning the new word for diapers there. That was news to me.
Yeah, so don't ask for diapers because they'll think it's for you, for your kid.
Definitely a big no there. I'm actually curious if you've seen any trends, Jana. Have you seen any trends with either marketplaces that a lot of people are expanding to? I know there's some new ones that are coming up here on Amazon. And as a follow-up, even just in the tech space, there's so many changes with AI and things like that.
Yep.
Any sort of trends or insights that you can see happening, in the next 5 years or so, what direction we're heading in regards to what you do?
Yeah. So the newest news when it comes to Amazon Marketplace is definitely South Africa. And this is like going to be so important for Amazon, just like tackling that continent. And they're also saying that the next one in Africa would be Nigerian marketplace, which also is very interesting. Also for Nigeria, would not need any translations because they also speak English there, and South African Republic as well. So that is really, really exciting. And it is no wonder that Amazon is expanding there, because African marketplaces, like, it's so untapped. They only have local marketplaces. It's really hard to get in. It's a completely different system, but it's so many potential, like so many people, so much potential, and so many potential buyers over there. They're like really hungry for having like an Amazon as a marketplace, and it's always really exciting when Amazon enters a new marketplace, like Sweden, the Netherlands, even like, very developed countries in Europe were so excited of like having Amazon selling and being available in their own language, let alone African continent didn't have any of that. So I think that African continent will definitely be interesting in the future of e-commerce, and also Saudi Arabia, UAE, and all the like Middle East region. I think they would be really. I think it's going to be such an enormous growth. I know that Saudi Arabia, the Sheikh invested, I think, $1 trillion in the development of e-commerce. Like, it's unbelievable how much they're investing in that. And I just think that they're investing in their whole country, starting from soccer to like hotels, like a bunch of crazy resorts in desert. So I think Saudi Arabia is like up and coming. And I also think there's going to be like a top 10 tourist destinations, I think, in the future, which, maybe if you ask someone 10 years ago, they'll be like, what? Like, that is not going to happen. But I'm sure that this is definitely going to be the future of e-commerce, definitely, like in Saudi Arabia region. That looks really interesting. Also, AI is definitely going to take over more and more. Now also Amazon has their own AI. So we'll see how that goes. When it comes to content, it's still not good enough. I mean, it's okay, it's better. But I think AI is great when it comes to creating something out of nothing. So when you have, like when you give them a prompt and like write something on this topic, and then you have it, written beautifully in another language. But when it comes to a source text that needs to be translated, it's not as accurate or efficient, doesn't use any keywords. So there's like still so much more they need to do in order to get this on a higher level. I don't think it's their priority, honestly. So I think they're focusing on other things, but I think that is going to be, of course, a I mean, it already is part of like everyone's everyday lives, just like this or that, like Midjourney or ChatGPT or anything like that. And I think people will find that very helpful, and probably, unfortunate for us, we'll be using less and less of our brains because you'll find all the answers
Right.
there. And so, but I'm really excited. I'm really a big fan of tech, just per se. Like, I would always love to try out new things. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm sure that in the next couple of years, we'll see much more from AI, probably doing everything in behalf of your team. So yeah.
Yeah, the expansion to new marketplaces is really exciting. It's kind of interesting just coming from the States. I mean, I might sound privileged by saying this, but Amazon is so ubiquitous here. It's almost inconceivable to me that,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, there's countries that, it has not established itself. So I can't even imagine the uproar that's going to cause in those new marketplaces. That was a really thorough answer. I really appreciate that. We only have a few minutes left. Ask you one question, and then I would love to hear you talk about your latest project. So we always end with, since this podcast is called Adventure, what has been the best adventure of your life?
Of my life. Wow. Okay. Oh, okay. I know. It was so far. I'm sure I'll have much more, even though I'm taking more relaxed vacations now.
That's awesome.
This was I went to a Serengeti safari. It's in Africa, Tanzania, and I slept in a tent. It was like an extreme safari. We had like hyenas, like hyena literally like slept on my shoulder, like because there was like a tent. It was like 2 millimeter, like a tent, like fabric, and then I could hear her breath. She just like decided to sleep right next to my tent, and I could hear her like breathe. And it was, I think if I had a gun, I would have blown my head off. I'll be just like, I can't stand it. And then we heard like lions and all of that, and it was like funny thing because it was a camping site, and then our guide was like, no, we're gonna like, we're gonna have like fire up like campfire and like campfires and all that, and animals won't come because like they'll see fire, they will know the people were there. And then 15 minutes later, we were going to our tent to sleep, and then there were like so many animals, and I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna sleep here. But then I don't know, I don't know how we survived, but it was a pretty intense 3 nights in Serengeti Park. So it was like, call of the nature, beauties of Africa, all of that, but I prefer a hotel. So that was one time only, and I really appreciate the experience and everything that I could, like see for my own eyes, including, like literally my whole life flashed in front of my eyes at that point. But it was really fantastic and something that I will definitely remember forever.
That sounds amazing. I'm like you, roughing it for me is like, a 4-star hotel, but
Yeah.
I'm also intensely jealous because that would be a dream for me, maybe just for one night. I don't know about 3.
Yeah, I don't know either. I actually did it for my then boyfriend, now husband, because he was like looking to go like to Serengeti because he watched it on National Geographic the whole life. So I decided to like buy this as a birthday present for him, and then bring him to. I wanted to show him how I'm like this adventurous nature lover, and I'm actually very much like a hotel spa type of person. So I did it actually for him, but yeah, I mean, I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. Honestly, I would recommend staying at the lodge where normal people stay, but not doing the extreme safari tent experience. I think it's only for the chosen ones, which I am definitely not.
That's really funny. Well, I would love to invite you to talk about your latest project or anything you'd like to share with us as we close here.
Yeah, so we have this report in the works. We actually soft launched it a couple of months ago. It's called AMOR. It's an acronym, and it stands for Amazon Marketplaces Opportunity Report. So AMOR. And it means like spread the love, like shooting little hearts across like global marketplaces. And we do this manual report where we gather the information that will help you decide what marketplaces to go to next. For instance, like if you don't know where to launch your product, we do this report, and then we tell you like, okay, like, so this is going to be great in Germany because of this, that. We have a couple of segments that we analyze. We don't do analyze absolutely everything, but we do analyze content, competitors, sales, how you can get it ahead of your competitors, what are some of the bottlenecks that this marketplace might have, and whether you should do it or not. So it's like a manual report, put a lot of hours in it. So you get like, it's a report that's on 12 to 15 pages, depending on the brand. But it really saves a lot of time and money for brands that really do not know how to do this due diligence I mentioned before. So this is something that we're working on and really excited to launch it real time next year.
That sounds amazing. And will people be able to find that then on your website, Jana?
Yes, exactly. So there's a link to it. So you just go to our website, YLT-translations.com /amour. That's it. And you'll get the full explanation what the report is, what you can expect, what testimonials we've had. We've done over 70 reports now, and we've only got positive feedback. I think because people do not expect that sort of data, because it's very customized. It's not the same for all brands or for all products. So there's always like something that's going to be very personal for your brand only. And because it's a manual report, it's not anything that you can automatically download, just random numbers, and that's it. We also give some advice, summary, and all of that. Sometimes we say, yes, go and launch it. Other times we say, like, don't waste your money or time and don't launch it, which people also think it's, quite useful to know.
Yeah, that sounds like invaluable information. So I just want to thank you. I thoroughly enjoyed our chat. It was tons of fun. And if you want more information, like Jana said, you can go to YLT-translations.com and make sure you subscribe to Adventure for future interviews of more amazing entrepreneurs. So we'll see you later. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much for having me.
Take
Thank
care.
you.